What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. So, sources are saying that none other than Miguel Cotto, Puerto Rican sensation, future Hall of Famer, they're saying he is working on a deal to go back to Top Rank and fight on HBO. It hasn't been confirmed 100%. I also reported that he was in talks to train with Freddie Roach. I haven't really heard anything about that since, so it's all in limbo, but Miguel Cotto is possibly going to get back with his old promotional representation company, Top Rank and Bob Arum, um, and possibly work with Freddie Roach. In other Cotto news, they're looking for an opponent, and I'm hearing that a strong possibility would be Carlos Molina. Carlos Molina, last time I checked, was supposed to fight Ishe Smith. I believe that fight is still taking place, but maybe not. Miguel Cotto is obviously a bigger payday for Carlos Molina. So if that's the case, I'm sure he would drop the fight with Ishe Smith to fight someone like Cotto. It'll probably be a bigger payday, even though Ishe Smith has a belt, just because Ishe Smith doesn't have the fan base and the buying power of Miguel Cotto. But to my knowledge, Ishe Smith and Carlos Molina, that fight is still taking place, and Carlos Molina is the likely candidate for Cotto. I also heard that he was supposed to fight K9 Bundridge, but Showtime didn't want to pick up the fight. I don't know how many people would be interested in seeing Miguel Cotto versus K9. If K9 didn't lose his belt to Ishe Smith, that's a fight that they could sell. But with K9 losing his last fight, pushing 40 or he is 40, something like that, I don't know many people that really want to see that fight. K9 is an awkward, kind of sloppy fighter. He definitely has heart. Um, he beat Corey Spinks. He lost his last fight. He's kind of at the end of his career. Um, it's not really many options for Cotto that I see. I see Cotto also nearing the end of his rope. Cotto has lost his last two fights. He lost against Floyd Mayweather, um, and he lost against Austin Trout. Now, this fight is really going to cement what happens next for Cotto. I don't think he can really stand another loss. In the sport of boxing, boxing is a very disciplined and unforgiving sport. If you lose three times in a row, you're almost always written off. Look at Amir Khan. Amir Khan lost to Lamont Peterson. Whether you thought it was a close fight or if you thought Khan should have won, it was a loss on his record. Then he lost to Danny Garcia, and after, I think even Amir Khan knew that he needed to change and he couldn't afford another loss. So we got with Virgil Hunter, left Freddie Roach. He took a softer touch, which was Carlos Molina, and the rest is history. So same for Cotto. I don't really see people being interested, especially with emerging talents, the Adrian Broners, the Gennady Golovkins, the Canelos, just the budding stars, the Mikey Garcias, and the young champions and the fighters that are coming into their own, building their brand. I don't see people being interested in Cotto if he continues a losing streak. I've said this before. I think Cotto, to a degree, has lost his ambition in the sport of boxing. That overall drive and passion to be a top competitor. It looks more or less like he wants to be a family man. I think he was really affected by the loss of his dad. His pops passed away. And I think he's done enough career wise. He's never really ducked anybody. He's had a very solid career, a great resume. I just think he's nearing the end of his rope based on his style and the weight division he's fighting. I've never favored Cotto. I never thought 154 was the best division for him, but it's a long-standing rumor, I guess you could say, or tall tale, or whatever you want to call it, that Cotto is not really a gym rat. He is not necessarily the guy that's going to go out every morning and have no problems running 4 or 5 miles. They say he doesn't really like doing cardio, so he was kind of forced out of 147 into the 154-pound division, and I just don't think he's the biggest person at 154. I think the full-fledged 154 pounders, they're going to make it a hard night for him. Um, that with his lack of kind of motivation that we're seeing. he's kind of gotten away from certain things that made Cotto Cotto. He was relentless. His body attack in the lower divisions was second to none. He's always had a chin, which is good. I think over the years he's kind of gotten like away from the body attack and some of his I guess signature things. So that's just my honest opinion. I think people like Erislandy Lara would be a very tough fight for him. Lara has some pop. Laura's very crafty. He's a full-fledged 154 pounder, and he was taking shots from Angulo. Even Angulo could possibly be a big, challenging fight. If Angulo looked like he did against Erislandy Lara, that could be a tough fight for Cotto. Not in the fact of Angulo is the most technically sound dude, but Angulo looks like he has determination and a chin, and he's a big dude. I mean, he rehydrated to 174 pounds, I think, against Erislandy Lara, and he has crack, so he can hit. So even that might be, at this point of Cotto's career, could be a tough fight for him. So I just don't think 154 is the best weight division for Cotto. I'm a huge fan of Cotto. I have nothing but admiration for him, what he's done for the sport. He's definitely a living legend. I just wish for a last stand, if you will, he could move back, just find the determination to lose the weight, fight at 147, and fight some of the tough fights at 147. I think he would do a lot better. Even though he won against Antonio Margarito, you can almost say that Manny Pacquiao helped him win. And Manny Pacquiao came with the assist. And the reason I say that is because Manny Pacquiao broke Antonio Margarito's orbital bone, and I don't think he fully allowed enough time for it to heal. I don't even think he fully recovered from that when he fought Cotto. So in the Cotto rematch, it looked like Antonio Margarito he took a lot of shots, but it looked like Cotto was starting to fade a little bit, and the doctor stopped the Antonio Margarito fight. But it looked like it could have been a repeat of the first fight had it kept going, just because Margarito is very relentless. He took the shots and he got beat up early on, and he was still there, and he was still trying to corner Cotto. So I really think if the doctors didn't stop it, there's a strong possibility that it might have been a repeat in the first Margarito Cotto fight. I don't know. They say Cotto cheated in the first fight with Cotto as well. It's kind of up in the air, but it did look like Cotto exerted a lot of energy keeping Margarito off him and moving. He looked very sharp, but it looked like he was starting to fade, and that could have been bad news if Margarito were able to corner him. So realistically, you're talking about a guy who, even though he won, he just hasn't looked exceptional in recent memory. So I don't even think the top rank deal is a good thing. I think I read in the past that he had some problems with Bob Arum. Bob Arum owed him money, different stuff like that. So I don't know why he's going back with top rank. And if he were to fight someone like Carlos Molina, I don't necessarily think that's a good look for him either. Carlos Molina is a very, very awkward fighter. It's hard to look good against a guy like Carlos Molina. Carlos Molina has also been victim of a lot of bad decisions and a lot of misfortunes, like the James Kirkland fight. He was embarrassing James Kirkland. James Kirkland said he got some Matrix pills or some shit, but he didn't look good in that fight. James Kirkland didn't look good in that fight. And Carlos Molina, again, he's a very slippery fighter, and it's hard to look good against him. So I don't know that that's a good fight for Cotto. Canine Bundridge, again, pushing 40. I don't know what that really does for beating a beltless Canine. Not taking anything away from the fight. It could be a good fight, but Cotto kind of needs to take a soft touch, and the options I'm hearing, I don't really know what they do for Cotto. I've also heard Gabriel Rosado versus Cotto, two Puerto Ricans, but just with the youth of Gabriel Rosado, and Gabriel Rosado's also been the victim of some bad decisions and mishaps. The Gennady Golovkin, he got a real bad cut. He tried to hold his own and did what he could do with the J. Leon Love. J. Leon Love was on a diuretic ped, and he lost via decision, but it was a money team event. A lot of people thought Rosado should have won. So Rosado's after that respect. So I don't know what Cotto would look like against a Gabriel Rosado. I think that'd be a good fight. It'd be a tough fight. Um, I just really don't know what Cotto will show up. Let me know what you guys think is next for Cotto. Do you think him going back to Top Rank is a good idea? Do you want to see him retire? Do you think he has more fights left? Who do you want to see him fight? Let me know. As always, hey, comment or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.